Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at the etrailers Sports and Rec Week. This is a pretty special event. We have all the cool brands out here, all the cool vendors out, and all of their cool new toys. So I'm right here at the Kuat booth taking a look at the Kuat Piston Pro X. So this is going to be a very interesting bike rack, and we're going to do what we usually do, which is test fit it with our 2015 Toyota Tundra right over here. We'll talk about how it works with our truck, different features, different specs, focusing on that relation or how they work together to see what is going to be the better fit for you, your different types of bikes, and your vehicle while checking out this cool new bike rack. So first off, we have our bike on here. This is going to be an electric bike, but this can carry bikes of different shapes and sizes. So whether you have a small children's bike, whether you have a really large mountain bike, this can carry that. The first feature we'll take a look at is actually going to be the tilt away feature. So we have this lever here. You recognize that from the Kuat NB and some of Kuat's other bike racks, where you can just reach in, pull that lever. You could also kick it if you can reach down there. I don't have the height for that right now. So we'll just press down. It glides down, feels pretty good there. And then this will allow you to lower your tailgate or open up your hatch. Let's take a look at our clearance here. So this will allow you to lower your tailgate and see if you have your bikes on there, you have clearance there. Bring this back up, bring this back down, go over to your bikes and lift up on the rack. We have a pretty good tilt and it snaps into place. So that means if you need to grab something out of your truck bed or out of your hatch real quick, you can do so. Now the weight capacity of this rack is going to be 67 pounds. So for your extra heavy electric bikes, perfectly fine. And if you want to take your bike off, let's take a look at how it holds onto there. So we have our two wheel mounts, one on each side. So one on our front, one on our back. You can actually switch this around if needed, depending on what fits for your saddles and your handlebars. When you want to take it off, we have this pneumatic. Is that what you guys call it?
Kashima coated air pneumatic.
Kashima coated air pneumatic system. And that means even if you have it super tightened down, you just press on this, pushes that right out. So holding onto the bike with one hand, it just pops out of place. We're gonna push this all the way down on one side, all the way down on the other side. That looks good. And now, you know me, when I lift the bikes up on there, if they're extra heavy, I struggle. So then I like to get the ramps with the bikes if possible. So this actually has a ramp that can be used with it. Ooh, making sure it doesn't fall off here. Let's see how this works. Finding all kinds of cool things. All right, so then we have the tabs on the ramp that fits right into the bike rack. So with that ramp in place, all I need to do is just support the bike as it goes down. I can lift it up too if I want to. Let's see how that feels with that angle. Up, down, pretty good glide. I like it. All right, so I'm just gonna leave our bike over here to the side and get out of the way. With the bike off, we get to take a closer look at the trays themselves. So we have this tray style where we can move our bike back and forth to get the best fit with each other. We also have this wheel mount. Before I do anything, watch this. That moves it back up to the neutral, and then I can lift it up. Cool. We also have these wheel mounts here. Those go up and down. So let's say compared to Inno tire holds, Ceres MHS, those you have to turn some knobs, move some things up and down. This just has a clamp, a little lever here, makes it super easy to adjust. So if you have the different wheels, that's nice to see that I don't have to take the time to adjust things. Just press that, move that in. If you've noticed the size of our trays too, this can carry your tire sizes of up to 5 inches. So whether you have your fat tire bikes or even your thin road bikes, look at those grooves on the inside. Those are gonna be for your different widths too. Pretty helpful to see too. Ooh, the ramp is on there. So with this ramp, this does not store on the bike rack though. So sometimes, like let's say with the Yakima on-ramp, the ramp stays on the bike rack. and which is helpful because then I don't have to remember to bring it every single time. This is an add-on accessory, so make sure to keep this inside of your trunk, or in our case, the Tundra. That way, as we drive around, we don't forget the ramp once we arrive at the trails. So I'm gonna set this to the side just to show that that's an extra piece. There we go. We brought this back up to neutral. Yep, so I guess now we can push this in, and this locks into place. Now, your Tundra is gonna be a big vehicle, but this is still gonna add some extra length to the back of it. Let's take some measurements to see exactly how much. We measured the length of our pivot extender. So remember that measurement. Now we sit at from the bumper of our Tundra to the end of the rack, 43 inches. You can add on to this rack though. So once you do get those add-ons, that's gonna add even more length. Something to keep in mind when you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot. Another measurement people wanna know, ground clearance. At the end of the rack to the ground, it's 27 inches. Compare that though to where your shank is, and that's gonna be 18 inches. So we do have this shank rise. So when you go up those steep inclines, like your driveways or hills, your front goes up, your back goes down. In the case of the Tundra though, not a big deal. What people actually care about is if they're lifting their 67-pound bikes up onto rack. That's a good amount of height. So measuring there, that's gonna be 28.5 inches. If that's gonna be the case, definitely worth taking a look at that ramp so you're not lifting up those heavy e-bikes that high. Another feature is, what if you're not planning on going out for a bike ride just yet, but you also don't want to take off your rack, especially since it is on the heavier side? What you can do is put it up into the portable position. We have that lever here. We used it to tilt away. This time, when we pull that, let's lift up, and it snaps into place in the upright position. Notice how we have those lights on? That's because our wiring is attached too. Taking some measurements for the difference there. You saw the length it added folded down. Now to the trays, it's 22 inches. From the bumper to the end of the rack, 28 inches. There is the pivot there. So we did measure for the 11 inches that the pivot adds to the end of our rack. A cool thing about Kuat, and what you might remember from the NV, is how easily accessible the lever is when it's in the upright position. So you're holding your bike with one hand, you're stepping on this with the other, and bringing your rack down. We also have the 4-way flat wiring attached, giving us those lights on there. So this is like magnetic, so once you have that plugged in, you have the lights. Once you take that out, you can pivot it out, take off the rack, things like that. So personal thoughts about this rack is, you can definitely see how it's improved, or I guess an upgrade compared to the Kuat NV. There's some cool features there. We talked about the Kashima coating pneumatic. I guess it's what it makes it the Piston Pro X. It was really easy to use. Something I always worry about when I tighten that rack up against the bike is how much effort it's going to take for me to take it back off. With just having to press the lever, I don't have to worry about that. With the ramp, I don't have to worry about lifting up the bike. With a great weight capacity, I don't have to worry about if it's strong and sturdy enough to carry that. So those are all different features that makes it easier to use. You get to focus on using your energy at the trail. As for how it compares with the Kuat NV though, you definitely see how this has expanded wheelbase, more weight capacity, and you can use this on your RV, motorhome, or trailer as well. So if you have those extra large bikes, extra heavy bikes, or extra extreme situations, it's definitely worth taking a look at the Kuat Piston Pro X just to get that extra level experience. So you saw that right here, right now, here at the eTrailer Sports and Rec Week. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.